Next 4 shlokas is talking again about the Sthitāprajñās Lakshana. Now this shloka, little bit it has got a hidden meaning. You all may know the story. Vyasa started to write this Mahabharata, and Gita is a part of this Mahabharata. And Lord Ganesha himself, he accepted to be the stenographer. So he said, okay, I will write it. But before signing the contract, what did he say? He said, there is one condition. What you have to do is, you should not take a break, Vyasa. So Vyasa also is no less. He said, okay, I will not take a break. But whatever you write, you must understand and write. So then, in between, he will give these knots or these difficult shlokas which have the hidden meanings. Like we saw one shloka, I think shloka 16, Nasato vidyate bhavaha nabhavo vidyate sataha ubayorapi drishtontaha tvanayos tattadarshibihi. In that he said, for the existent, there is never non-existence. For the non-existent, there is never existence. So that is what the Munis have concluded. So something like that. This shloka has got a little bit of hidden meaning. It is a knot. So what he is saying is, Yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. Yanisha. Ya what? Nisha is night. Sarva bhutana. Of all the living entities, sarva, of all the, or sarva is all, tasyam jagarti samyami. So he's talking about this samyami, the self-controlled person. In this instance, we'll take it as the self-realized person. What is he doing? Tasyam. In that, what does he do? He is wakeful. When it is night for all the beings, this self-realized person is awake. And yasyam, in which Jagrati Bhutani. So in which Jagrati means they are awake, Bhutani, all the beings, Sa Nisha Pashyato Pashyataha Munehe. So the Bhutani, where in which all the beings are awake, Sa, that is Nisha, night, for whom? Pashyataha, for this introspective sage. What is night for all the beings? Is a time of awakening for the self-control, and the time of awakening for all the beings is a night for this introspective sage. So what does it actually mean? If we just take an example, so there is the little boy, it is his birthday. So his mother is organizing a party. So she calls all his friends and she says, okay, let's do something interesting. Let's make some chocolate in our house and we will put it in molds and all the kids are going to enjoy it. So this mom makes this homemade chocolate and puts it in molds which have different shapes of animals. So then a time to eat all the chocolates, all the children come around the table and they take the different animal shapes. Then this boy, her own son, he wants the shape of a lion. Somebody else has taken that lion. So he starts to cry, saying, oh, this lion is gone. I want this lion chocolate. I want this lion chocolate. So what happens here? This mother knows that it is all chocolate. What she says, it doesn't matter, you can eat this rhinoceros or you can eat this elephant. It is all the same chocolate. But what the child thinks, it's a lion chocolate. It's what is different from this elephant or this rhinoceros chocolate. So it is having a big tantrum. So if we keep the topic title as the truth of the chocolate, if we keep that title and we have two people under it, one person is this boy, okay, the other person is this mother. So if we put the boy under the title of the truth for the chocolate, the boy does not know the truth of the chocolate. Basically, he thinks that every lion chocolate is different from the elephant chocolate. Like that he thinks. It is all different. It is not the chocolate he wants. So it is the truth of the chocolate, we can say, is darkness to him. Or he is ignorant about the truth of that chocolates. And this night that they are talking about is actually ignorance or the darkness. So he doesn't know the truth. Therefore, we can say that the truth of the chocolate is night to him. But for the mother, what happens? She knows that all the chocolates are the same. Whether he eats the elephant or he eats a rhinoceros, it is only a different mold. So for her, the truth of the chocolate is, it is day for her. She knows the truth. So like that, if we keep the title, first Yanisha, if we keep the title as a Brahman, then if we have two people under it, the Ajnani and the Jnani, the Ajnani for him it is night. Under Brahman title, for Ajnani it is night because he is ignorant of the Brahman. But for the Jnani, he is awake. He knows about the Brahman. So this is the day and the night they are talking about. Is the truth is not known. The ignorance and the knowledge is what is the night and the day. Under the topic of the world, what the Ajnani will score full marks. It is day for him. So Ajnani, the worldly things are day for him, and for the Jnani, he chooses to ignore it. It is night for him. So in the first Yanisha, we have to substitute as the Brahman. The implicit meaning is that Yanisha they are talking about is the Brahman in the first line. The Sanisha they are talking about in the second line is that they are talking about the worldly things. We are not able to see anything beyond that. We think we are the doer, we are the enjoyer. But for the Jnani, when he knows that there is this Brahman, he has realized it, he doesn't think he is the doer or the enjoyer. And other interpretation is Adi Shankara says that day is the non-duality. It is all the same. You, me, God, everything is the same. The duality is only seen by this Ajnani. Seeing things as different, seeing people as different is the Ajnani who does this. So that is the day and the night he talks about. Question always comes. What they say? Oh, Krishna is saying such good things, but it is not practical. What you're saying, be without desire, all that is really not practical. I have a family, I'm not a sannyasi, I'm not anywhere else in a secluded place. I have to live with my husband, my kids, and everything. What Krishna is saying is good, is very good, nice to listen, but it is not practical. This is our approach. So, what happens at that time? At least if we say, okay, what Krishna is saying is right, but I am not able to practice it, that is better. Because what happens, you are not able to see the reality of what Krishna is saying. What Krishna says is only one can be true. Either the Brahman can be true or these worldly things can be true. There is no gray area. The Jnani, the Jivan Mukta, the person who has attained self-realization in this Janma, he is also in this world, very much in this world. But he knows this world is false. He knows that only the Brahman is the truth. But what we think in the darkness is that is not possible. That is just not practical because we are only seeing this world. For us, the world seems very practical. That is why we give this excuse that, oh, this is what Krishna is telling is not practical. This world is very practical, but I can put up with it, but not go in the direction of what Krishna is saying. That is one excuse. And the other thing we come up with is this detachment. This detachment, what are we saying about detachment? I have my family, I have my kids. You are telling me to be detached. So, how is that possible? What Krishna is talking about is not physical detachment. He is not talking about going and shutting yourself in the room or not to love anybody or be compassionate or to be kind to anybody or even with your body or your mind or with the money doing things for other people. This detachment is very wrongly understood by all of us. Krishna says is if you think your mind is like a balance, okay, you have this two sides of a balance. So what happens is the two things, the raga and the dvesha are acting. Even if you say, oh, I have my kid, how can I be? I have to be loving to my kid. I will have attachment to my kid, right? But what Krishna actually says is you have your mind like a balance. On one side you put raga and the other side you put dvesha. Okay. So when you have raga, when you are attached to your child, what happens? You say the raga is going to plus 10, suppose. Balance in your mind is tilting. It goes down. You can visualize that scale is going down. Whenever that scale is going down, there is a vriddhi or there is a wave created in your mind, and this wave is not going to let your mind function properly. More the wave you create, if your raga is 100 plus 100, the more intensity of the wave will be, and then it is stored in your memory. So that is why it is being reproduced again. So this creation of this wave is the cause of the problem. You cannot function properly if you have raga and dvesha. Even if you want to do well in your transactional world, if you have raga, your mind will not function properly. Similarly, what happens with dvesha? You go in the minus 10, I don't like this person. Your action, there is a wave created in your mind that will prompt a different action. Where if you are in this balanced state, your ability to work in this world also is amplified. That is why all these realized souls, all these gurus, they do more work than us, but their mind is stable. Because we are affected by this raga and dvesha, is why we are not able to act properly in this world too. And this removing this wave pattern in your mind is only being detached. Not bodily work, not stopping bodily work, or not being compassionate or loving to anybody, or your children, or your husband, or your family is not talked about. Detachment is only the state of the mind. So that makes you to serve them in a better way without likes and dislikes. Having, like what he said in Karma Yoga, not being affected when you do the work in your mind and not being affected after you receive the result in your mind. That is what exactly he's talking about as detachment. And so
Radhika,
yeah.
so I think raga was quite clear in terms of attachment. So dvesha is what, non-attachment, or how do you explain dvesha?
Dvesha, we explain as, if you say detachment, it is wrong because we are promoting detachment, right? It is actually aversion or dislike. Suppose you
Aversion.
have, yeah,
Okay.
suppose you have dislike for somebody, your action is going to be prompted by that thought pattern. So you
Okay.
are not acting correctly. So that is why the Shastras are saying there is no gray area. Know that this world is the truth or this Brahman is the truth. Wake up. Please wake up. Uttishta Jagrata. Uttishta, wake up and awaken to this truth. Set your life according to this. So that is what has been said in this shloka. So what is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self control, and the time of awakening for all beings is a night for this introspective sage. Next shloka is going from Anushtup to Trishtup meter. We saw that Anushtup meter 8 syllables per pada, and this Trishtup meter is 11 syllables. So total 44 syllables. So what it means is the emphasis. When they use Trishtup, it means that that shloka is important to emphasize that. आपुर्यमाणमचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी. So here he says he is comparing the mind of a self-realized with that of not self-realized. So he compares that with the samudram. So we'll start with the samudram. Apuryamanam. So he says apuryamanam meaning being filled by all sides. Apuryamanam. Achala pratishtham. That means it is steady, steadily situated. Samudram. This samudram is steadily situated. When is it steadily situated? Samudram apa pravishanti yadvat. Yadvat means as. Apaha is the waters. Pravishanti is they enter. So when the waters are entering, when the rivers are joining the seas, what happens to the samudram? It is just stable. It is just steady. Tadvat. So what happens? Kamayam pravishanti sarve. So he is comparing it with the kama, the water it is entering. Kama has this desire. Yam is unto whom. Pravishanti is enter. Sarve. All. So just like the waters are entering the sea, just like that, what happens to everybody and also to this jnani? All these desires are entering our mind. Like waters are entering the rivers, these desires are entering the mind. Sir, that person, what does he do? This person of knowledge he's talking about. Shantim apnoti. na kama kami. So that person, first he is talking about this enlightened person, Shantim apnoti. Shantim is the peace, apnoti is he achieves. So he is peaceful. This jnani is peaceful, but this kamakami is what? The one who desires to fulfill the desires. He wants all the desires to be fulfilled. For him, na kamakami. For that kamakami, there is no peace of mind. But for this self-realized person, there is this peace of mind. So the samudram that he is talking about has got certain qualities. The samudram is independent. It doesn't, what does it say to the rivers? It says, if you want, you come and join me. Otherwise, if you don't want, don't come. It is independent whether the rivers join or not. And what happens? It is complete in itself. So it doesn't need anything else to come and join. And it is always achala pratishtam. It is always steady. If suppose there is thunder, there is lightning, there is heavy shower of rain on the samudram, nothing really happens to that samudram. So it is like solid. Similarly, the jnani's mind is very solid. In this shloka, he is talking about that even the jnani, for him, all the thoughts will enter. He will also have all these kamas entering his mind. But the only difference for the jnani is that he is not disturbed by it. The ajnani is disturbed by it. Even if you have stopped all this input of all these desires, one point of time you will go out. If you shut yourself in the room or the house, the day you go out, all these things will come rushing to you. But the jnani can be anywhere. He can be situated anywhere and still nothing affects him or disturbs him, or he is not engrossed in anything. He is not engrossed in any desires, or he is not following any desires. So that is the thing that Krishna wants to say here. The next shloka is also Sthita Prajna Kshanam. This shloka is very, very important because he describes three qualities here of the Sthita Prajna. This also can be read every day. If nothing is possible, at least this shloka we can read every day. So it says, Vihaya kaman yas sarvan पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति. So what he says here is Vihaya kaman yas sarvan. So whatever he has been saying so far only he is repeating. Vihaya, giving up kaman, all these material desires for sense gratification. Yaha, who, sarvan, all, puman, the person. So the person who has given up all the material desires. Then he says, nisprihaha. Nisprihaha means without desire. Spriha means desire. He lives without desire. So what does this point mean? So we have to imagine that we are traveling from US to India. Then we have a stopover for 8 hours in Amsterdam. Then we are in that lounge. What happens there? There are we getting overly excited about being in Amsterdam? We are not excited. We are using it as a transit location. We are using that opportunity to become comfortable, but not too comfortable. We don't want to be too comfortable and sleep and miss the flight. So we are constantly looking at that board. When will my flight go to India? When will my flight go? We are comfortable, but we are on our lookout as well. Similarly, we are not getting attached to the things in Amsterdam. We don't want to. We want to go and do a little bit of shopping, but we are not going too much and doing anything because our intent is only on that board, and we keep seeing, okay, when is this flight? When is it scheduled? Where is this gate? Because our goal is to go to India. Our goal is not to stay in Amsterdam. So we come with this intent and we stay in this transit lounge with that intent. But when we come into this life, which is actually transitory, we become too comfortable. And we think that this is what it is. I have to become attached to everything that is here. I have to grab this, I have to grab that, I have to go and get this, I have to go and get that. And this is end all and be all of everything. We stop looking at that board, which is the destination. We are not anxious for what our end result is. We become too comfortable and too complacent. So nisprihaha, being without desire to whatever is there in this life, basically, because it is only a transit lounge. Mrityosya mrityum gacchati. You are only going from death to death. Nothing you have achieved. You have become the CEO. You have this big house facing the beach. You have done a PhD degree. Anything, it is irrelevant because you have not looked at that board itself. You don't know your destination. Even if you knew your destination, you are not trying. You are only doing other things and making yourself more and more comfortable. So, nisprihaha, be without desire in this world because this is really not your destination. Your destination is something else. And make use of this, the transit lounge, how you make use just to eat and just doing just the right things to go to your destination. You are just having one coffee or one snack, you're maybe sleeping for half an hour, like just right to proceed to your destination. Like that, this life has to be used, not become too comfortable with it and think that this is the end all and be all of everything. That is what he wants to say in nisprihaha. Then he says nirmamaha. Nirmamaha, even bigger word than nisprihaha. It is a sense of proprietorship. So what we are doing here, think about this transit lounge again. You are meeting somebody in that transit lounge and then you are having a very nice conversation. Then that person looks at his board and says, okay, the time for me has come. I have to go to Nepal. Bye bye. So you wave, bye bye. Okay, bye. See you. Are you becoming attached to that person? You're not becoming attached to that person. Similarly, the people who have come in your life, your child, your husband, your wife, your mother, father, one time is that for us to say bye bye. They have to go to their own destinations. We have to go to our own destinations. This is the reality. And if we are not seeing that, we are constantly saying we are attached, attached, attached. Just imagine, are you going to tag along with that person, go to Nepal? You're not going to go. You're going to let them go and say, oh, we will meet some other time. Same dialogue we must have for everybody we are close to. Okay, nice. Till the time they are here, we have to be very good. We have to do our level best. But we have to learn to let that go and not be attached. Similarly, with all the things in this world, we are going and having a cup of coffee in Starbucks, the beautiful nice cup they are giving you, disposable, are we taking that and going and we're putting it in our handbag? People think we are crazy. We have to let go of that thing because it was only served a purpose. Like similarly, people in your life are coming. When we take these marriage vows, it is only to help each other spiritually. It is not somebody should give me a bunch of flowers on my anniversary or you should say this and that. We are born for to lift each other up spiritually. That is the main purpose. In marriage vows we say to each other that I will help you spiritually, you help me spiritually. Similarly, with our children, we have to help them spiritually. They will also help us. They have come with so many things. So this life has to be lived like that. Instead, we are just focusing on petty things. Who gave me what gift? Who did this? Who did that? He did not wish me. She did not do this for me. So our emphasis should be on nirmamaha. We should be without sense of proprietorship to people and things. People come into our lives for our spiritual upliftment. We come and go into people's lives for their spiritual upliftment. Help each other and grow. This is the only purpose. It's not to become attached. We always should think about that is disposable mug in the transit airport. We are not going to carry. Don't become attached to your house, your jewelry, your bank balance, your job. That is not the purpose. That's not what Krishna is teaching us. And the next is what he is talking about, nirahankaraha. That is also one big word, big word. All these words have this I attached. Nisprihaha, I like, then bondage. Nirmamaha, mine. This is my child. This is my house. This is my job. This whatever, gone. Third word, nirahankaraha, what he is using is very big word. Suppose this person comes, he is a big celebrity in India. He is sitting in this transit lounge. Nobody knows him. In Amsterdam, nobody knows him. He's a big actor, serious Bollywood actor. So people treat him just like a human being. Similarly, we are all just jivas. We added all these layers. There's nationality, color, caste, creed, job, house, wealth, bank balance, all the layers we have added. And with that layer, we are talking and we are going about in this world. What Krishna is telling us, don't add any layer to yourself. You are just this pure Atman, your bliss consciousness. And you are adding all these layers to you, talking about your nationality or your whatever, your upbringing, whatever it may be, the layer after layer. Again, the I attached to this layer is getting you to a worse situation. So try to remove all the layers. Just be the human being, the jiva, the atma, and there is no layer. Everybody is without layers. But don't put on for yourself or don't put on for anybody else. And this ahankara that comes is because of the layers. I am this, I am that, I know this, I'm so wealthy, I look so beautiful. All these things are just layers which are going to pull you away from this truth. So it is the wrong way to project oneself. Better to remove all the layers and just be as you are, that everybody is. So that is the third point Krishna wants to make. So the three profound truths he has given. Nisprahaha, nirmamaha. Nisprahaha is without being desired. Remove the I like, remove that please, he says. And then nirmamaha, don't have the sense of proprietorship to either the things that this is the object, mine, my people, my child, my husband, my wife, my father, mother, remove that. Then nirahankaraha, remove all the layers that define you. You are not under that definition. You are just pure Atman. You do not have any definition. So try to live without any definition. And the ego is resulting only from that definition. Then that person, what happens? Of course, it goes without saying, Shantim adhigacchati. So he gets to the perfect peace. So if you are able to do, if you are able to meditate even on this shloka every day, it will produce huge results. So the general translation is, a person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he can attain real peace. So come to the last shloka of chapter 2. So here Krishna talks about the greatness of jnana. He says here, he actually says, try to get to this at some point in your life. Esha brahmi sthitif partha nainam prapya vimuhyate sthitva syamanta brahma nirvana mrichhati. So what he says is, Esha brahmi prastitihi partha. That is, this brahmi or this person with this Brahma bhava, the one who has this Brahma bhava, sthitihi, he is situated, Partha, O Arjuna, na evam prapya vimuhyati. He never, enam, this, prapya, on achieving that, he is never vimuhyati. Very important word is he is never confused. He was not bewildered. Then the very important thing he says is stitva asyam antakale api. Stitva is being situated, asyam, in this, antakale api. Antakale and api, that has to be read together. Why? Because he says even at the end of this life. Even if you do this at the end of this life, Brahma Nirvanam is this realization of the Brahman, Richati, he attains. So he attains this Brahman. So what he wants to say is, you have to practice this in your entire life. If you are there in this life, please wake up. Uttishta Jagrata. These two words are used in the Upanishads. Please get up and please wake up. Not even they say please. Uttishta, strong word. Wake up, get up, like that. They are trying to wake you up. So in this whole life, you have to practice this. And Krishna says, even if you didn't practice it, before death also you got this intelligence, This is not permanent, this is going to go away, and this Brahman is what is the ultimate reality. Even at the time, even 5 minutes before death, you got this wisdom, then that person will get this realization of the Brahman. So what Krishna wants to say is, the person has to practice this, and the importance is you practice it even 5 minutes before your death, then you will get the Brahman. So please practice this in your life. In the second line, they are actually talking about this Videha Mukti. So Jivan Mukti is when you get this realization when you are alive. And Videha Mukti means for that Jivan Mukti, they will get Videha Mukti. That means there will be no afterlife. When they don't have a body, Videha, there is no Deha after this life. So that is called Videha Mukti. So this person is going to get this Videha Mukti. There will be no life. So this is the end of this chapter.